when in fact you see the protagonist and the female literally becoming one as they rise upward. In this, of course, he's borrowing this from Jean Cocteau, I might add. But you'll see this incredible nucleation of the masculine and the feminine. But that's in a movie that's talking about spirituality and transcendence and crucifixion. It's not quite the same thing as what Saks Fifth Avenue's thinking. But the fusion of the yin and the yang and the masculine and the feminine is an extremely powerful motif in the unconscious mind. And these fellows are really up on that. They really use this a lot. And here we have the whole Jungian thing of the persona, the masculine and the feminine. Not male and female. We're not just talking simply about male and female. That has no meaning at all. Masculine and feminine is what animates us. And we have both of those inside. We have many advertisements, for instance, of the return to the mother, the return to the womb idea. The time is short, so we have to kind of go through these rather quickly. But the O is the symbol of the ovum, the ova, like we saw earlier, the womb. And here you have the man and the phallic bottle. You see, you have the Holy Grail chalice, and you have the phallic bottle with the O, and the O is always the life, for age upon age, it's been the symbol of the feminine and the mother, and the state of immersion into that state. And so you see them borrowing these ancient motifs. Eve, the apple, temptation, evil, right? A simple Washington Apple Company. The advertiser knew exactly what to do to draw you in, to start using biblical symbolism. Here you have the ovum and the phallus again. Here again you have the Chanel, but again it's the womb, the vesica Pisces, and the circle, the all-enclosing circle. It's basically a magical alchemical image. And there you see the male and the female again in their alchemical embrace, simulating the chemical wedding. Of course, in science we know that the female gene or chromosome is represented by the letter X, and that's why you see it so often, symbolizing the feminine. And if you feminize something by a symbol, an O, an S, or an X, if you feminize the image, it attracts men. It is it will immediately feminize something. And there's other symbols that masculinize things. Here the model is, there you have the two letters of the feminine, the X and the O, and then there she is. This is one of my absolute favorites. I cannot stress, like that particular quote we had, about the genius of these people. The well of knowledge that they draw from. Illegitimately, of course, but nevertheless. Here is the cosmic mother, the ovum, the female, and the balloons represent the sperm. You know a balloon, right, with this little string? So what you're actually seeing is a sexual act. It's conception. And they talk about millions of sperm coming around the ovum. Now what you see is just some model surrounded by balloons. But wow, how your unconscious sees it is totally different. And that's where the power lies. But then turning to astrotheology is one of the hermeneutics that crack this code. The symbol of the eagle, the symbol of the angel, the symbol of the sky. Or mudras are very, very important. Holy sacred mudras. You'll see Barbara Bush having used this. You'll see, what's her name, Michelle Obama, and so many others using these mudras. Oprah Winfrey, they all use this. Here's a woman, Jean advertised sitting literally in a yoga pose in a state of prayer. Here you have East meets West. The woman on the left is in the Egyptian state of resurrection. And on the right you have the Christian. And then the colors, the coloring of the models. Their entire pose is reminiscent of the highest art. There you see on the left John the Baptist with the arms crossed in exactly that way. Oh, no head. No head. No head. They love these headless women. Here we have a spirit. Right? Again, breath, spiritus. Well, that was feminine in the Gnostic tradition, wasn't it? Light. The concept of light. The concept of the Christ. They're always selling you something. Remember? You can't get it from within yourself, so you inherit it from external means. Here you have almost like floating on the water, walking on the water. And again, the use of yoga and meditation and spirituality. Where there's life, there's bud. This vampiristic way to make you feel that now you become dependent on the external stimuli of the world. Well, first of all, they're telling you don't need to give meaning to life. Life is there to give you meaning. But secondly, they're even saying that, through our products, through our creations, you gain that life, turning you into basically a vampire. Come alive. You're in the Pepsi generation. And then the narcissism again. Tom Selleck here. I don't let anything get in the way of my enjoyment. Well, that's good to know. Or pleasure to burn, if it feels good, do it. Nike's just do it. The energy you crave. Yeah, well, what's the downside of all of that? And then this thing I pointed out before is this whole concept of the usage of light. We have commercials we could show that even just amazing examples of this. But then even in the beer where it's meant to be a light beer, L-I-T-E, and yet the spelling is clearly light, luminescence. So when you're drinking that alcohol or you're drinking that beverage, the idea is that you're being enlightened. You're drinking something of the light. What's that? That's spiritual. That's part of your spiritual journey. The idea of imbibing light, the Holy Grail, the truth. And also the settings that these are put in, this idyllic, sun-bathed settings are also very attractive, you see, on a certain level. Skip through some of these. I want to get this. Oh, it's my car. Sorry. Here we are. Here's the right one. Take a word like, this is just one example of many. On the DVD there's more, but centra. Interesting word that doesn't mean anything in English. That's because it's not meant to. It's a composite word. And it's in fact a non-English word, and that should always alert you when the word is not English. There's something else going on there. It's either a Latin word or a Greek word or a Hebrew word or even a word from the magical tradition. And this word is a composite word that embodies a lot of different other phrases like center and centaur and enter and scent and serpent. You see, and ra. It has all these connotative phonemes and connections. Very much the same with the Mazda. In fact, the owner of the Mazda company named it after Ahura Mazda, the god of the sun, because he was a Zoroastrian. I mean, he openly admitted that he was part of that organization and named his company accordingly. And by the way, that is the sign of Aries, which is always sacred house of the zodiac to solar cults. Nisan is the same as the Jewish first month, where the sun rises on the horizon. That's why you have that circle rising above what looks like a border, with the word Nisan in it, that literally means the place of the sun rising on the first month of the Jewish New Year. So we have astrotheology there. We've got the usage of words. Here's another one of those composite terms, lexis. If you turn the word backwards, you get succel, and that is a composite word that involves words like success and sex and cell and lux, which is Latin for light. And even the idea that so many logos come in a circle. If we have time at some future point, we can discuss this. Sprite is really a take on the word spirit, of course. So again, you see some advertisement where they're drinking this stuff. The subconscious mind picks it up slightly differently than the conscious mind. And there they're using the sort of a yin-yang symbol. Phila is often the one I use because this is very interesting. Again, it's a word that doesn't really mean anything in English, but if you turn it backwards, it has a lot of meaning in the occult tradition because it's Aleph, the very first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And that's where we get our English word alive from, meaning life. So if you turn life backwards, then you have death. So the word phila actually really represents death or blackness. Here we have the return to the womb. But look at the logo at the top left. When we get to our part on post-humanism, we'll see how many advertisements have been for many years past suggesting this technocratic age that's to come.